This is the third video in the search series, and this one's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be a little bit more in depth because we're going to be actually hitting the search tab itself. So if you haven't checked out the first two videos, the first one went over the front widget, and the second was regarding the speed bar up here at the top. And for this third one, as I said, it's going to be the search tab. So right off the bat, you're going to notice some changes when you mouse over search. You're going to see residential, residential lease, commercial sale, commercial lease. They have been segregated into separate searches. If you did still want to do a search that included both lease and sale, you can do a cross-property search. Cross-property is all of the property types with, sale, rental, anything that you want in that type. You'll also see a business only, a land registry search, which is a new feature in the ITSO platform. It will be available soon, and an open house search. In this example, I'm going to show you the residential search. So I'll select residential, and you'll see it's not all that unfamiliar. It looks the same, it has the same layout. When you get into the fields themselves, though, there are some minor changes. We have moved to a RESO compliant platform, and RESO is just a standard for back-end fields and such. We'll be releasing some more information on what RESO is soon, but just think of it as an easier way for multiple systems to communicate if they're using the same language. So what that means is some of the fields have changed, and it does make it a lot easier to kind of navigate and organize. So we'll start with status. We have active, conditional, pending. You'll notice that there's no longer an active CS and active NS. It's active or conditional. That being said, you can still select if you want continue to show or do not show indicated on here. So if you wanted active and conditional continue to show, you just have to check that off. And that's the same as selecting active and active CS, for example. In this instance, I'm just going to select active, though. Nothing has changed on these date selectors or anything like that. You could still do active in the last 7 days, for example. And we'll continue down. We have the property subtype. So we have single family, condo, apartment. You're going to notice there are these select options underneath a lot of these options, or not. You'll see over here, we have over here. What this means is if or is selected and I select single family and condo apartment unit, it's going to just show me both. If I hit not, it's not going to include either single family or condo in my search. So this is useful if you have a particular list where you just don't want one thing and you don't want to have to select 15 things but not that one. Instead, you just want to select that one and hit not. It will rule it out. So for this search, I'm going to do single family, and you'll see this is moved into its own field. We have attached, detached, or semi-detached. I'll go ahead and hit detached on this one. Common interest, that is all the same. I'm not going to dive into that just yet. I'll go down to the architectural style, and you'll see we have all of the styles. So we have a back split, we have side split, whatever it is that you're looking for, you should be able to find in here. And you'll notice that we haven't had the levels yet. So previously in the old system, you had 1, 1.5, 2. That has moved into its own field here on the left to levels and stories. So you can indicate if you want 1, 2, 3 or more, multi-split, whatever you need. Let's say our clients are looking for any of these 3 options. We have the recreational use, yes or no, and then I'm going to go up into the middle column, and this one hasn't changed too much. So we have the map search, you have an address search in which you could use the street search. If your client wants to live on Lakeshore, for example, you can include Lakeshore, and that's going to only include properties that have that street name. The region, municipality, and neighborhood are all the same. We have our city. There is a larger waterfront section, and this just kind of makes it a little bit easier. Since our platform is 23 plus boards now. It just makes it a bit easier to use for everyone, especially up in cottage country and such. If you're looking for properties, making sure that there's waterfront on it or something along those lines. Alright, so coming down we have the room section, and there are a few changes. Things like the number of kitchens have been removed, and you'll want to use this room section for various things. So for example, let's say your client is looking for an in-law suite, something like that. What you can do is hit kitchen. Generally, most in-law suites are going to have the 2 kitchens. So I can add a first kitchen here. So that's going to be just the standard kitchen. But if I hit more and then kitchen again and put this one in the basement, that's going to rule out a lot of listings. So 91. And odds are these are in-law suite listings. But there are some other options that you could use this for. For example, den. Our system still uses +1 as an below grade bedroom. Den, if your client is looking for a 1+ den, you just have to indicate den in the rooms, and this is only going to show you properties that have a den attached to it. Continuing down, we have an other structure section. So is it a boathouse, a garage, a guest house, a whole bunch of options that you can add in there, and you could add multiples. So if your clients really want a garage, but they also wanted a guest house, something along those lines. We have the remarks, public or private. Now these are great for searching specific wording, green space, in law, anything like that. All you have to remember is to include it in the wildcard, which is the asterisk. This is essentially saying look for everything within here. So it's going to look through all of those remarks for that word green space. Alright, and we're going to go back up to the top right now. We're in the third and final column, and nothing has changed in here too much. We still have our price and our MLS number, your bedrooms and your bathrooms. They've cleaned up the number of bathrooms and such, and you'll see once we're actually looking at listings how that looks now. And that's about it. There are always some fields that you can add, so if there are things that aren't on here by default, don't forget you can scroll down and go to the additional field section here at the bottom and hit add. And maybe you're looking for listings with pools, pool features. I can add that in. There you go. There's a whole bunch of fields that you can add. I'll hit back, and now when I scroll back down, I have a pool feature section, and I can make sure that we want that in-ground pool in our searching.